What's going on, guys? This is Bubba Malroot, where I sit down with real blue-collar Americans, talk about life, money, fulfillment, and living the blue-collar dream. Today we have Jason Witherspoon, where he escaped the rat race by becoming an electrician, operating a farm, becoming a real estate investor, and now is also the president of a hedge fund. Let's get balls deep.
How many people you got now?
I got 4 full-time, well, let's say full-time, they're all 1099, but office staff, and I got 2 sales reps myself, and I got 6 crews. So
That's awesome. So are you subbing out stuff too, or are you just doing mostly inside?
we sub out everything.
So you're basically outside sales essentially. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, we just facilitate the deal, man. We get the deal put together, we make the insurance companies treating the clients fair, and then we get the ball rocking and rolling, and we just sub out the work.
So are you a public adjuster too?
No, not a public adjuster. We do have public adjusters on our team. We keep a handful of public adjusters, lawyers, and appraisers on our team in the event that the insurance company just being silly and don't want to help our clients out. So we just kind of we can't force it onto the client, but we always let the client know on the upfront that in the event that the insurance company does not treat them fairly, we have a team of savages that'll fight for their rights.
Yeah, we got a good one right now that saved us a lot of money.
Saves you a lot of money and helps you gain a lot more money, because, I mean, at the end of the day, what these insurance companies do is that they're notorious for is they come in and they'll shortchange the client. Somebody's got to take the shit end of the stick, and it's never going to be the insurance company, right, if the client allows it. And how insurance companies work is if they can go out and they can shortchange, say, all their clients, and then 10% just accept it and they don't fight for it, then it's a fucking win for them. But a lot of homeowners they don't know the process. They still live in the old process. And what the old process is you file the claim, you get a couple estimates from roofing contractor, or you hire a roofing contractor, he gives you an estimate, send to the insurance company, cut you a check. That was the old process, less your deductible. The new process isn't that way. And a lot of homeowners still live in the old process, and to help them understand the newer process of how things should work, it's some clients are susceptible to it. Some of them are like, sounds scammy to me. So it's really bad after hurricanes and stuff. After hurricanes, you get a lot of pushback from clients, because everybody wants to go with the most affordable, but everybody knows the most affordable isn't always the better option.
That's almost always true.
Yeah, I was going to say almost. I've met some really good contractors that gave me some really good prices. I was like, holy shit, and they do really top-notch work.
Well, it's because they don't know how to price their work.
Exactly.
Right. They don't know their value.
And I think helping them understand their value is the main thing. Is one of the another reason why we started the podcast and I started the Facebook group is because people undervalue their craft. They don't value it to where they should. And I'm just like, man, you should be charging more. About, oh, well, if I lose some clients, you should want to lose clients. I want to pay you for what you're worth.
That's a pretty astute statement. I don't think a lot of people understand what their time is worth.
Mm-mm.
We're always making excuses like, you know what, I'll skip one of Junior's games today. I'll just put in another couple of hours, but they don't realize the cost of those hours with their family. And a lot of times I don't feel like they're valuing that correctly to get compensated to miss those life experiences and things like that.
And I think when you break it down to them and you get them to understand that they're actually what they're selling their hour for. So if you work in in a restaurant, you making say $15 an hour or whatever. After tax, you might make more, $11, $12 an hour. You're selling an hour of your day for $11 or $12.
Mm-hmm.
If you're working for $30, $40 an hour, and after tax, you might be at like 20, 30. You're selling your hour for $30, and it's not ever. When I started looking at things like that in time instead of money, it changed my whole perspective on things.
Yeah, I spent a lot of years exchanging my time for money.
Mm-hmm.
And, I thought I'd be doing good. I'm making $40 an hour, $50 an hour, whatever that was, catching overtime, or I was salary exempt at the time, but it was still extra.
Yeah.
And, I get paid all them hours. Man, I'm killing it. And then, I'd work whatever, a month worth of 12s. and you're just like, damn, I haven't even seen my family in 4 weeks, right?
Yeah.
You know, like you come home, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is.
Junior's walking already. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I know I missed my son's first steps, but,
Yeah.
you know, like, what, you can't get that back. There's
Never
nothing you
get
can do. And, you know, I'm like asking my wife, why didn't you push him down? Like,
Get out off here.
But you talked about working shutdowns. Like, I've done them. Like, I think my first shutdown I did, I was fixing to turn 18. I might have lied on that paperwork to get in the mill.
Yeah.
That was 30 years ago, so good luck proving that.
Proving it.
Good luck, but...
it's out of, what's that, the statute of limitations is gone.
Yeah, and it was the first time I ever made $1,000 in a week. I'll never forget. I was like, oh, shit, I made $1,000. Oh, excuse my language.
No,
I was
you
like,
fine,
so
bro.
happy. I made
Let it out.
$1,000. But I was killing it, like, just like all those guys. So we were killing ourselves. This is 130 degrees behind the stacking beds at the steel mill. You know, we're in there pulling motors, taking them over to the shop so they can rebuild them, because we were electricians. So we're just taking them out and then take them to the motor shop. They'd rebuild them all and bring them back. And we do all the other stuff we need to do, go in and clean all the transformers, whatever we could do to, you know, for preventative maintenance. And at the time, it seemed like a great job. Everybody in my family worked at that steel mill. I'm not going to shout them out, but my uncle still works there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where my dad started. You were talking about people that stay in those spots forever, and they do, and that's there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I think I don't even know how to explain it a lot of times. Like, I see the benefit of what I do every day. It's a weird thing. So me and my wife were talking about something the other day where she's like, man, you know, I can't talk to you on Mondays because you're in meetings. Tuesdays you're podcasting. You're doing all this stuff. And I'm like a real job.
Yeah. Yeah.
You mean like a real job?
Yeah, like a real job.
And it wasn't anything. I just don't think it's something we take for granted as being able to set our own hours. Like, you can just take a call when you need to.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? And you as your own boss, you can make something happen. I try to be at all my kids' games now. I miss very few, but I'm 40. I'll be 45 this year, and hell, I've got friends down left and right. Like, you don't know how much time you got left on this earth, right?
It might be the last ones. All we know.
All I know is there'll be a last day that I get to pick up my kid.
Yep.
I don't know when it'll be. Like, because they're too big or I'm too invalid to do it anymore. I still try to pick up my 10-year-old all the time.
Yeah.
Just to hug her one more time. And she's like, stop it, you know, but I know that's coming to an end.
That's right.
Right? And it's the same with the games, all the other stuff. And I think that's really what you're trying to bring to light, is that a lot of people can have this design lifestyle is not right. I guess it's more that we can choose what's important.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom.
You're right. It's like people don't. They don't value time, and I did it for years in the plants. So my little boy's 9. He's playing his first year, 9 U. He started playing T-ball at 3. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 years. I missed games. And his 7-year-old year, I was able to assist with coaching. 8-year-old year, which was last year, I was able to coach full time. Now I try to coach all my kids. Shit, if I can coach, I'm gonna coach. Because I missed it for so long. It's not time you're trying to make up for. It's like I don't, like you said, you don't know when your last day's gonna be. I don't know if, he's got practice today. Maybe Tuesday. If I don't make it home, maybe Tuesday was my last day to coach him. Same with my 5-year-old, his T-ball. Maybe Tuesday was my last day to coach him. So when you work in those plants, because you might leave in January, you might not come home on these shutdowns. You might not come to March or April. Sometimes longer, depends on how big long shutdown is. And if you miss all that time with your children, I know you're out making a living. It's like you missed 3 or 4 months of valuable time with your children. Time that you weren't able to give value to them. Time that you weren't able to instill, your perspective of how you look at things to them, and now they're having to figure that out possibly on their own, or maybe they're just getting the mom's perspective and the mom's values. Some people might not want that shit, I know,
Well, I think it depends on how that,
Yeah, it depends on how that goes,
Luckily, me and my wife see eye to eye on
That's
almost
good.
everything.
That's good.
With that stuff. Matter of fact, my wife, as conservative as I am, she started the other way, and I think she's probably more conservative than me nowadays.
Wow.
But it's a very, you think about it. We're in a weird world right now, and it's
so weird.
It's so weird.
It's so weird. It's so weird around there, man.
But you don't want your kids growing up without that guidance if they can't help it, and you never know what the little things are that you say that really impact them long term, right?
It's the small things I think matter to them the most when it comes to kids.
I agree. It's do you only have one?
I got 3. I got a 9-year-old, a 5-year-old, and my little girl will be 3 in April.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've got 4, but I got 2 for 1. So
you get 2 for 1. You got twins?
Yeah.
Nice.
It is now that we're getting out of baby jail, but they're fixing to be 5, and we're finally out of the weeds in a lot of ways. It was rough, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I got them for my 40th birthday, and I was not prepared to have another pair at 40.
Thought one was on the way. You got 2 of them.
Yeah, and it was awesome. Like, I don't have time to feel old a lot of days.
That's right. Stay busy, man.
Man, I don't know how much time one of them spent kicking me last night. But it's fine. And that's the other thing. Like, my first kid, I'm like, I get her out of the bed because I just want it. Nowadays, I'm like, man, this is the last one. I know.
I cannot beat mine to get in the bed with me, man. They will not. My oldest son, when he was 3, he kicked himself out of the bed. He never wanted to stay with my 5-year-old. He'd rather sleep beside big brother, and then my little girl rather sleep beside the boys. They do not want to sleep in the bed. You can't be able to get in his bed with me. So I'm like, come on, I'll just come in here and lay with Dad and watch a movie. They're like, nah, we're gonna lay in there. So I go in there and lay with them until they go to sleep, and then we try to move on out, and then I go get my bed. But yeah, they are hell bent on not getting in the bed with me.
That's funny.
Some parents they go, oh man, I wish my kids were like that. But man, I'm the type of dad. It's like, especially my babies now. I have visitation with them, so I don't get them a lot. So I try to definitely be 100% present. I got custody of my oldest son, and so like every minute with them matters.
Oh, for
it
sure.
counts, So which I get to see them every day. I mean, I get to pick them up from school every day, so it's not like I only get to see them on like every other weekend and every Wednesday or no shit like that. I get to see them every day, or I get to see them. We try to work out things that work best for us, but every minute I can indulge and spend that time with them, I do.
Well, you said something that's really important to pick up out of that, and it's every minute counts. And it's because we don't have infinite minutes, right? You don't have infinite tries to redo it. I can count. I can't count, but I can tell you, I realize all the time the stuff I screwed up with my first one that I'm doing much better with 3 and 4.
Yeah,
and 2 somewhere in the middle, But
that's the beauty of parenting, though, man. Just learn as you go.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Like, people are always like, oh, I don't know if it's the right time for kids. Listen, there's never going to be a right time for kids. You just got to roll them dice.
Roll the fucking dice, bro. If you wait for the stars to align, you're gonna be waiting for a long ass time. And I think that's where people get that work off and shutdowns and refineries and turnarounds and stuff. Is they always look at, well, I missed her birthday this year. It's okay because Daddy's out here working to buy her, pay for her birthday party. I'll make it next year. The next year might not come. And then, it's good that you're out making a living, but I think people get so caught up making a living that they quit making time for the ones that they love, especially in that industry, because not all industries, they get so entrapped working the turnarounds. I remember I got to a point, I was a quality control manager at this time, and I went to, it was my little boy's, I think it was his first year playing T-ball. I was in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, working at Hunt Refinery. I went and told the project manager, I said, hey, I'm going to take off to you today. This was like the week before, so I'm going to let you know it's my little boy's season opener. It's his first time playing T-ball or whatever. He's like, I don't know if I could let you go. So I was like, I walked out. after thinking. And this is how I was as an employee. So if you ever think about hiring me ever, which would never happen, but if you ever did, this is how I am as an employee. I turned and walked back in the project manager's office, and I said, "Look, man, I try to do it the right way. I'm not going to be here Tuesday, so I need you to let me know if I need to bring my computer and shit with me when I leave, so I ain't got to drive my ass to Tuscaloosa to get it again." He said, "You being serious?" I said, "I'm serious as dick cancer." Turned around and walked out. Left, went to the game. Come back Wednesday, my friend ain't say a word to me.
Right.
That's how I was. Because I got to a point where I just felt like I'm a grown man, not a child anymore. And when you got to start asking for permission to do things with your loved ones,
It's one thing I've always been weird. So I worked in corporate America too for a lot of years, like a decade. That's enough.
That's a long time.
And it always was weird to me. The one thing that was weirdest about the trades, I remember how tough my dad was. Like somebody come up and ask him when I was a kid, like, "Hey, I want to take off for my birthday." He'd just laugh, like, "Get the fuck out of here!" Like like that ain't a special day. Yeah, and that's how he raised us. Like birthdays wasn't a special day for me. Like
here, bro.
I was like, my wife when I got married, she's like, "Oh, what are we gonna do for your birthday?" I'm like, "Exist? Like I got work to do.
Wake up and go to bed." I mean, fuck, I don't know.
And I don't know that that's right either. But it's the way I was raised. And when I look back at that now, I'm just like, man, it's such a weird thing because you got to celebrate something.
Yeah.
It can't be all work all the time, but I just didn't have those life options when I was a kid. I know we're swerving back and forth, but when I grew up, my granddad would get me after school. He was like a gentleman farmer. He was mostly retired. He built houses for a living. He had a farm. I'd go out there and feed, do whatever he wanted to do, drive him around, throw feed bags. And then if I was with my dad, I just did whatever. There wasn't any, I didn't have like the T-ball and stuff, like all of that in my life. And I wish I would have. I mean, at some levels, my kids have a lot more of that. We're working hard to.
Yeah, I think I only had the T-ball and baseball and stuff because my uncle was the coach. If my Uncle Barry would have been the coach, I probably would never played the shit. But when he quit coaching is when I quit playing baseball. And I was like 8 or 9. I remember like he quit coaching, I quit playing baseball. And that's just how it was. And I was same. My grandpa worked on a farm. He had a farm. That's why I would help him. I was up before the sun came up, and we'd work till the sun went down. It's just how we did it every day when I was with him. I stayed with my grandparents a lot, and if it weren't for that, I don't know if I would have the work ethic I would have now if it weren't for my grandpa. He instilled a lot of work ethic in me. And for years, I worked hard at the wrong fucking thing. I worked hard to rely on another man to sign my checks out every day with the power to let me go at any moment, take away all my fucking financial stability every moment. And I did that for 12 years, right up until 2020, so longer than 12 years. And then, like I said, when I got into realization with that, and then realization with time is irreplaceable, I was like, I got to do something different for my kids. And that's kind of where I moved into working on trying to get my own shit rolling.
So how are you trying to instill that in your kids? Because it's something I work on all the time. How are you? I know you are. So there's no way you're not if you made that move.
So my kids, my oldest son is always saying, "I want to be this when I grow up." I said, "Bro, that sounds great." I said, but we always have them up in my office. But I'm always showing him how to do little things because they're on my payroll. So I got to have them do stuff in my office for tax purposes. You know what I'm saying? No.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're on my payroll. So I got them up in my office all the time. And I'm always showing him through the ranks. Anytime I do something big, like when I fought, they got to watch me on TV, and then when on Jess's podcast, I let them watch me on the TV. We just link it to the TV, and I think it's the coolest thing that I instill in them that you can definitely do and be anything you want as long as you're willing to put in the hard work and dedication to do it, and that you cannot quit. I refuse. If you start something, you have to finish it. That is one thing. That's a big rule in my house. If you start something, you have to finish it, regardless of the results. You have to finish the shit. My oldest one right now is getting ready for his first boxing match. So I'm getting ready for that for the end of the year. Regardless, we've already started. But a couple times he wanted to quit. He don't like the ice baths. He don't like the running up the hills. He don't like the countless punches on the bag. But you know what? You started, motherfucker. You're going to finish. You're going to have your first match. You're going to have your first boxing match. Regardless of the result, you're going to have the first boxing match. So I try to instill that in them. Just never quit, hard work, and keep moving forward. That's one thing that I really, really harp on a lot with my kids. My 5-year-old, he's a little hard-headed sucker sometimes, but I think
we've only got one of those.
Yeah, so when he gets a little older, I think it's going to be instilled in him a little better, like because it didn't hit my 9-year-old. He was about 7, so because I would always teach it, even still to this day. I drop him off at school. I ask both of them. I look them both in the eyes when I drop them off. What are y'all? They say, I'm a winner. What you going to do today? We're going to win today. What kind of mindset you have? I got a warrior's mentality. I said, all right, now go crush today. I'll take off to their class.
Oh, that's hilarious. I
Every
love
day.
it.
Every day, man.
I've been telling my daughter, because she's like a wallflower. She's my soft one, my oldest. Like she loves soccer. She's good at goalie. And I'm like, I've been working on it with her. I'm like, hey, are you a badass today? And she's like, I can't say that, Dad. You know I can't say that. And I'm like, no, you gotta feel it. You gotta think it. Like, I'm asking you if you're a badass. You're not saying it.
Yeah.
And we've been trying to work on it. I've been really pushing her. Like, anytime she says something negative, I'm like, hey, we're going to break it down right now. I need like 3 positive things, like right now.
I like that.
Like, we're just like forcibly stopping whatever's happening. She was whining about someone on the way to school today. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to work through these. And of course, my son's like, oh, do we have to? And I'm like, yeah, this is not your issue right now. We're dealing with this because it's something that I let go on for far too long. I'm probably I think a lot of people would see me as negative in a lot of ways, but I think I'm like a realist. I'm always trying to troubleshoot what could go wrong and backwards engineer a task. But I've been working really hard to cut negativity that's just flowing into my life out.
100% with you on that.
And not let it, because it gets in your soul, right? Like, it seeps in from all, like, I buy people's problems every day. Like,
Yeah.
I get their problems. They want to tell me about their problems. And that stuff seeps in, or you get in an argument with your wife or ex or whoever it is in your life. And then all of a sudden now you've got this thing metastasizing in you, and you're trying not to let it spill over into your kids.
Into business.
Absolutely. Just the negativity of that, or just business happening backwards. Like, it's a really hard balance to keep that out. So I'm just trying to push all of that out of my life.
Yep. And there's a guy here in Dallas. There's actually named Kurt Linton. I've heard him speak a couple times. He has this thing. He says you don't have business problems. You have personal problems. Everything's a personal problem that bleeds into the business. And he preaches that a lot. And it's true, because me and my 2 youngest children's mother just recently split at the end of November, beginning of December. And it was because of that. It was the negativity. It was the constant. I'm over here, I'm not acting like I'm some clean cut. I've been with some like saint of an individual to live with. I'm hard to live with. And I know that because I'm like so driven. I'm so task like driven and focused on getting to the next level and, trying to do everything, be the best version of myself. And when you got constant negativity. And I went this way when we first got together. This didn't happen. We got together in 2017 is when I hit my transition where I didn't want to grow and become a better person. So technically I created the issues in our relationship because I wanted to be a better person. She just wasn't ready for that growth yet. So I created technically the issues, if you want to look at the technical stance. And it's just after, so much negativity, it got to a point where it was really starting to affect my work. It was starting to affect me as a person, my mental health. I said, look, I just got to get out because of that. Like, I'm trying to minimize as much and eliminate negativity in my life. And I think most people should. And if they did and added more positivity, they would live a lot happier life.
Well, and there's probably 2 things there, right? Like, so one, you're becoming somebody that person didn't fall in love with. Like, you're changing stuff, and for better or worse, whatever that is, you're becoming somebody different because you're actively trying to better yourself. But
That's right.
2, I don't think people realize the burden of sniping, just the constant tiny little things of negativity, and how they just kind of burrow.
Yes.
Like, they get in you, and they become this little ball that gets bigger and bigger and bigger, And it can't not become resentment. That's what it has to become at some point, because you just can't take all that in and never release it. And it's something that even me and my wife have been married, it'll be 11 years this year.
Congrats, bro.
Thanks. But we still have to work on it all the time. Like, all the time. It is hard to be married. There is nothing easy about being married. Anybody that thinks marriage is easy, or if you, I'm going to say this to the camera, if your marriage is easy, I'm afraid you're a psychopath. Because, like when you ever meet people, you're like,
yeah,
we never argue. I'm like, y'all are both crazy.
Yeah, I know when you say that, I have a couple that sticks out in my fucking mind that's been together. Like, we never argue. I'm like,
yeah, you're psychopath.
What the fuck is going on with either you're taking a lot of shit from him or he's taking a lot of shit from you and it's not saying nothing. Something's going on.
Or they're exactly alike and they're in love with themselves. Like, there's no way that I don't know. It's a weird thing to me, but dude, it's so hard to be married. Like, I know I'm hard to live with. Like, I am always about, because and it's really hard to explain this to people that don't feel like this. I think you'll understand. If I go work a 12-hour day and don't talk to anybody in my family, in the back of my head, it's always, I'm doing this for the family. I'm trying to make that extra dollar to make our life 10 years from now much better.
That's right.
I'm not even thinking about calling to check in, because I'm just trying to I am looking so far down the road at what I got to do for my family. If I stack this up, and I know that's a hard person. My wife married a computer guy, so we didn't talk about this. I grew up in the trades. My dad's an electrician. I went and got a college degree. My parents wanted me to go to college, and they helped me through it. I'm very lucky. I went and got a degree in information systems. And I graduated in 2001 when the telecom corridor in Dallas here collapsed and the IT corridor in Austin collapsed.
Wow.
Couldn't get a job, so I went back to the trades. And I got a phone call, and they said, hey, we got a job for you. We take one. It's in Iraq. And I'm like, yeah, why not? This is a fairly ignorant thing to say. I had no idea what I was doing, but I took a job there, went to El Paso, Fort Bliss after that, White Sands, worked out there, and met my beautiful wife. Had 2 kids out there, so all that's good.
Nice.
But my wife met me. I was an engineer making a really decent living in a really badass house in the nicest neighborhood in our town. And then I'm like, hey, let's go be entrepreneurs. So I can't even talk about the price like she's paid, because I've moved her down the ladder of social economic wealth multiple times. Like,
but she stayed humble through it all, right? And she
absolutely. But my wife came from a humble background that I don't understand a lot of times. Like, I have a hard time wrapping my mind around that, because we always had food. My granddad slaughtered 2 steers a year.
That's right.
Like, I didn't realize until I got older how much wealth that was to just have. Like, he had cows, so he put 2 in the freezer. He gave half to my parents, a half of a beef to my parents, and half to my mother's brother's family.
Yeah.
And then, anything extra, they just went and got. But we didn't, like, I didn't process how much extra wealth that was just to have free protein, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's so similar to how I grew up. Like I said, my grandpa grew up on a farm, and he would always get a steer or get a steer slaughtered for my mom had 6 brothers and sisters, so 7 of them total. And he would always give half to, every year it seemed like he was doing this for my aunts and my uncles.
Right.
My mom just giving them a half a steer, and that was their Christmas present. And it helped us drastically, because we grew up in just poverty. We grew up in a real poor situation, in which we were grateful for it, And then, but talking about wealth, that helped us through a number of hard times. It's just him doing that for us.
And so I didn't grow up in that. My wife grew up in a very austere. I don't know that poverty's the right word, but she didn't have a lot of extra from what I've gathered. Because I don't want to talk out of school about her.
That's right. I understand.
But we had we didn't have extra when I was a kid, because my dad decided to start his own business. He left the steel mill, became an electrician. But we had a house that my granddad helped build. My dad wired it, so we lived in a nicer house than we probably should have. And through my dad's hard work, we never wanted for any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember. I remember, how old are you?
35.
Okay, so I'm way older than you. But, like, I never had the name brand clothes and stuff. I just had nice clothes. Like, they were clean. And, like, I remember, like, the Pro Wings I would get from Walmart. Like, I was super, like, I wasn't stoked to have them, but they were always new,
That's
so
right.
I didn't have that to bitch about, right, or feel bad about. But again, looking back, I realized how wealthy we were in that sense. Like I just, I didn't have that want in my life, but it was all because of how hard my dad worked. And I think I took that to heart, where I just like, well, that's what you're supposed to do. It's just work. Like,
I think that's all of us, man, in the industry, like in the blue collar industry. It's just you get told to work hard. And I learned my work ethic from my grandpa. If it weren't for him, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. He really instilled a lot of hard work values in me and my cousins. But we spent a lot of time over there. I lived with them for a short period, from the age of 4 and 4.5 to at the end of first grade, and I would spend my summers over there. And if it weren't for him and his values that he taught me, I'd probably not be sitting here in front of you today, or you'd be sitting in front of, I wouldn't be here. I'd probably be just like the rest of my siblings, just doing the bare minimum to get by. And I'm not talking about them. That's what they're happy with. That's what they feel comfortable with. I'm not talking down on them. My older brother, he's one of my operations manager. He's lived a rough life. He chose to go down the wrong road in life, and he's been in and out of prison, for a number of years, for about 16 years, and he finally got out and got his shit together, and he works for me now, and he's a blessing to me, man. He's my enforcer. Some shit ain't going right, I call Big Boy up, hey, X, Y, and Z needs to happen, make sure it happens. Boom, he makes sure it happens, because I'm a real subtle guy. I don't get fired up too much, I'm just like, should just get it fixed, I'm not. He's an enforcer, He's the guy that makes sure my crews are towing the line, make sure keeping the roofs and our repairs up to standard and up to quality, like we sell it to our clients. Because we don't. Last thing we want to do is sell a product on the front end and not deliver on the back end.
Sure, especially if you're running subs, right?
That's right. So in some subs, I've vetted my subs. I've been through some bad subs.
And sometimes that don't matter. Yeah. Sometimes your best sub picks up a meth problem.
Boom. My best subs I had to get rid of, they had alcohol problem. They were up there drinking 25-ounce Modelo's on the eve of a damn Pentecostal lady's roof. You know what I'm saying? So and she flipped her shit. So we gotta let them go. Because we don't tolerate that, I'm cool with them drinking. I'm cool with drinking. Obviously I drink, but
yeah. We've all stuck beer inside the water cooler, to leave it there till after work. We've all done that. I don't know if you can do that anymore, but in the day, there was a lot of that.
Yeah, you can do that, man. Back in the day, you can do that. But yeah, that's what they would do, man. I just looked up there and they like nonchalant. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
I've got so many good stories about GCs that have just ruined life for people. We had one. It's a huge. It was I'm not going to name the hotel chain. It's a hotel chain over here by the airport that we're building, and we were always having something go wrong there. But the GC guy, he pissed off the city of Irving to the point where they would drive their fire trucks through there every day and just start handing out $500 tickets for being where they couldn't have access.
Wow.
It's amazing what one bad person's impact can be. And this dude was, I can't for sure say he was an alcoholic, but he would start shaking and have to go sitting in his car,
100%.
For certain amounts of time until he could compose himself.
Yes.
And this is 20 years ago, but like it's amazing what that just one person's impact can have on those jobs, just into the cost of the customer, cost of the subs. Like that job, I don't even remember what happened, but what prefaced it, I think that dude just may have peed off so many people. He pissed them off. Like at one point, I got a call. I don't know where I was, supply house or something. They're like, "Hey, dude, you're not gonna believe this. Immigration just showed up. They were pouring third floor or fourth floor.
Wow.
They said people were coming off the building on extension cords. It just looked like an anthill.
Wow.
And of course, it shut down the job for like 3 days. This was 20 years ago. Life was a lot different back then.
A lot different.
And that one dude, like we had one. I used to get to go solve a lot of those problems because they'd be like, "Hey, you got to go and unscrew this mess."
Yeah.
We had a foreman, electrical foreman, that was chumsy, pals with the GC on a job in Waco, and the GC didn't like ladies in the trade for whatever reason. He had a problem with that, and the inspector that showed up happened to be female, and he just said, "Hey, something slick, like, hey, why don't you come back when you're a man or something?" And he didn't know that lady's husband was the head inspector for the city. You know, so that job, it took forever to not, like, it was a bad job. Like,
yeah, that's some tough shit right
that
there. when you
dude,
get there.
like, people don't understand, like, how that stuff rolls over into into affecting everybody on the job.
It does. It does. Kind of like, man, I bought my kids eat grapes like they're going out of style. So I bought some grapes the other day from Aldi, and talking about one person could ruin the whole job. They had one bad grape in there, man, and that one bad grape done rotted like fucking 5 or 6 different grapes around it. It's the same similar situation. It only takes one, and and I'm from a small town in Mississippi, and our markets are small. We typically work in the rural markets. We don't work in like big metro markets. And we bring something different to the table than our competitors just because of, we put the client first, not our checkbook first. But it takes one bad review, one bad word, and especially in a small market, bro, it can ruin your company like that.
So we used to be part of there was at one time I was working through a company as a franchise, bath and kitchen remodeling. One of the greatest things I picked up out of their training was from one of their contractors was it takes 10 really happy customers to fix the damage of one really bad customer. Mm-hmm. And this was before the internet was a thing. Like, the internet wasn't a thing like it is now, where anybody just get on Google and be like, I hate Sohill.
Yeah.
Like, just type it out there. I don't like Sohill.
Yeah, no reason at all.
I don't like 3B construction.
Yeah.
Just for no reason.
No reason they do it.
Yeah, your truck cut them off inadvertently, whatever reason. They didn't see the car, and now they're mad. They got to get on the internet and talk to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get my 1-800 number called all the time because I got on the back of my truck, and I drive like a bat out of hell most days. And I get Annika, my office manager, calling like, "You got another phone call about your shitty ass driving."
That's funny. That's funny. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that people have so much more access to that now.
Yes.
And I bet it's more like 100 to 1.
Yeah, it's a lot
to fix it now, because when you go on Google, people don't realize this. And when you go look at Amazon reviews today. Just go on Amazon. Everybody's got Amazon. Look at the reviews. It's all good or all bad. There's very many people saying it's a mediocre product.
Yeah.
It's all the people that are super mad about their product that arrived screwed up, or it's really happy, but most of the really happy ones are paid reviews. Like, I just take those reviews a lot of times for what they are.
Yeah.
Like you got to really hate something to be mad enough to go on the internet.
Oh my God, I say that all the time. You got to be one disgruntled motherfucker to get on there and be like, it's not just a little. I mean, these motherfuckers will type a review. As long as that screen there on there, and I'm like, why do you got so much time in your fucking day to do this? Like, I don't understand it.
Oh my God, dude. And I think people take those reviews way too serious.
Way too serious.
I don't know if I do it right, but I just look, if there's 75% positive, like 3, 4, 5, I'll just buy it.
Yeah.
And then if it breaks, I just throw it away. Because you gotta figure that in too, because it goes back to your times or something, right?
That's right. But luckily, we still have all 5-star reviews just because I had one person give me a 1-star review because my price was too high. And they didn't like my price, so they gave me a 1-star review over it. I thought I was price gouging. Well, we had to make a phone call. They didn't even hire us. So I'm like, why are you even fucking leaving me a review? You didn't even hire us, If you got a problem, my bad. I said, if you got a problem, man, you can just reach out to me about it, and we could have resolved this without going to leave me a negative review. $50 fucking gift certificate to the local Mexican restaurant, and the review came off. To me, it was worth it. It was shitty that he even did it, but it was worth to me $50 to get the damn stupid ass review off my.
But that's the same person that's going to bitch at you when they hire the dude that showed up in his old beat up 1984 truck. Mm-hmm. So there's an electrician in my hometown. It says it makes me sad when I see it. He's like, cheapest price electrical work, and it's the stickers you buy,
yes,
just hand deal. And I was with my old man the other day. He helped me drop off a car and need some brake work or something. So he and I was like, man, look at that, Dad. And he's like, yep. And my dad's the nicest Christian guy you ever met. He's not like me. Like, I fell way off that tree. Like,
I'm with you, man.
Huh?
Because I'm with you, man.
But I was just like, man, I feel bad for that. He's like, why? I was like, because that dude doesn't know that he is devaluing himself. Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't see it. And that's all I see when I see that, is a dude that's devaluing himself and all the other tradespeople around him. People that are bringing value. And we all know shitty tradespeople.
Yes.
There's some trash tradespeople out there. There's a lot of fly-by-night guys that don't have insurance. I carry insurance. Do you carry insurance?
carry insurance,
right?
bro.
Like, they don't understand. Like, they'll put licensed, insured, and bonded. They don't even understand what that means. They ain't. I don't need to be bonded for most of the stuff I need to do.
Same with us.
But I carry insurance. Like, and I try to do business the right way. It's really weird. I don't know. Like, it's really weird, the cutthroat stuff that happens in the trades where it's like, no, I can do it for cheaper. And all they're doing is devaluing everybody across the board.
You're right, because I'm not going to go out and do a job for basically free just to win the job, just to have some gross numbers on my motherfucking books. I don't give a shit about that enough. Just to say, hey, I added another 10 grand to our numbers this year or whatever.
So we've all had to get jobs, right? Because if you don't keep your crews busy, your crews disappear. They're going to find somebody else that will keep them busy.
That's right.
See, so sometimes you got to get them jobs, especially in, I don't know, November, December, January.
Slow months.
Right. Like,
we were blessed this year, but slow months typically.
right. For the trades that the holidays are really slow. It's super slow in real estate. That's what we do now. From Thanksgiving to mid-January, it's just like it just grinds to a halt.
Yeah.
And it's like, it just is what it is. We kind of work on like a bell curve in real estate, and or like not a bell curve, but it is like a up and then down.
Yeah.
Like July, June, it's hot.
Hot. That's why I talked with Corey that I got a couple flips, and I really bought them. I bought the first one just because I thought we were going to be slow October through December, and I was just going to keep my crews busy doing that rehab. But we've been late season storms came through. We had hail come through. Then, early season this year we had tornadoes and hail come through. So we've been busy. I really don't even need the damn houses now. So I'm trying to just do a quick flip on them, because I really don't have time to get my crews lined up on them to get the rehab done. I don't have time personally to do them. So we're just trying to, we try to offset them. We're going to just, we'll sell them fast. If not, I'll hold on to them a little longer, and then we'll get the flips done. Eventually, when we get slow.
Yeah, but I mean, owner finance them. There's a lot of things you can do there.
We gave that option too on our signs. We'll owner finance them out. To some people, they're kind of in that C-class neighborhood.
Those are the ones I like, man.
Yeah, man.
I love blue collar neighborhood.
Yeah, that's what it's like, working neighborhood. And
everybody can talk. It's so funny. They talk all like. You talk to Corey. So Corey's my business partner.
Yeah.
He has his own podcast. And shout out to Corey Thompson, Roughneck to Real Estate.
Check him out.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been following him for years. Before I was even on it, I've been following him for years, yeah.
I followed him. So we'll rewind a little bit. 2017, I was doing electrical work. So I'd come back around trying to help my dad, and I was terrible at it. Just everybody, I'm going to let y'all know, I'm a terrible project manager in the electrical trades. I'm just not good at it. I love doing commercial work. I don't enjoy doing industrial, and that was what my dad and his crews always. I just don't like it. I like commercial work.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked on one main place over here. I worked on a lot of buildings. I mean, it was small stuff, but I like doing those things. But in 2017, I was out doing what we're talking about. I was on a public storage in Cypress, Texas. I was having trouble walking up and down the steps. And I was just chalking up, having headaches, all this stuff. Went on vacation with my wife. Found out my blood pressure was 185 over 110, which apparently is high.
Yeah, I know, bro.
Hey, you're going to stroke out. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, like you're like on the verge of death. Yeah. Like, just get to the doctor fast.
So that's what they're like, we can't do anything, but you should go home and go to the doctor. I'm like, but I'm on vacation. This is not good. Like, so anyways, got all that under control. But I couldn't go back to the field because I was in Cypress. I'd been in North Dakota before that. I couldn't go back to the field, so I basically, while I'm trying to figure that out, there was no work for me.
Yeah.
Like, because all we had was work all over the place. And I decided I'd go full time. Man, I burned down everything I had, like 401k. I sold my one little rent house I had. Like I burned down everything and was almost completely broke. And I'd been watching Corey, and I kept pestering him. And finally, he came over to our house and helped us like get our first deal.
Nice.
He came and ate. We were eating at a card table because that's all we had.
Yeah.
And like I was literally down my last $5,000. Which seems like a lot of money to a lot of people. It's not. It's nothing.
Now we got 5,000 bills every month. I don't know if that's what your bills were, but I mean, I know.
No, it was easy $5K a month. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, just having 4 kids. Like, when I got laid off a month, again, like if your only works out of town, you can't go. You get laid off. There's nothing to do.
Yeah.
But we found out a month later we were pregnant, and a month after that, found out it was twins. So I had no insurance. I had no nothing. Like shit got really
real
quick.
fast. Yeah, real fast.
Real quick. Like I went full redneck in that doctor's office when they told me it was twins. Like, and I knew what it was because I saw that. Like I'd seen a lot of
Yeah, he's like, I've seen this picture fucking before.
I was like, no.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, congratulations. I'm like, I went off the rails.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
And my wife's like, you should be happy. I'm like, I got no job. Like this is not good. And you know, through the grace of God, a lot of other stuff, like a bunch of stuff happened that just helped us. But we met Corey, and he helped us get our first deal, and then we slowly climbed out. Like one $10,000 deal bought us 2 months worth of life. You know, and
It was a wholesale deal?
it was a wholesale deal.
For the people that don't know what wholesaling is, can you just kind of just give up? Because I know what it is. That's kind of how I took my first step into entrepreneurs. But
So it's actually on video, the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
The craziest part about this is he was just trying to reach out. This dude had come to my house and eating dinner with us, and he was trying to help me. He literally negotiated the deal, let me contract it,
nice.
and then bought it from me so we could eat. Right?
Nice.
Like so you know, a lot of people have called me over the years. Like my partner's rougher than a corn cob. He's definitely a unique personality.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, why don't you do your own thing? Well, this is one of the reasons I'm so loyal to Corey.
Yeah.
Because there's not many people that do stuff like
Nope.
that, right? Like they just don't do that. But if you look on his group, there's a banana video. It's somewhere on YouTube because he had bought a banana shirt from Ross or something. It's the ugliest shirt you've ever seen. It had bananas all over it. And he just had his phone in his pocket recording it to try. This was before he was doing stuff all the time, like,
Yeah.
you know. And he put it out there, but it was the craziest thing. This house had so much raccoon shit and squirrel stuff like all over it. Like it was, they'd invaded the house. The rats had taken over. Somebody had flipped a big aquarium upside down in the tub, and the rats had packed it full of papers and cloths and stuff. So they had peed in there so much it eaten the faucets off.
Wow.
Like the whole house was. But these people, I can't remember what he offered. He offered like 45 or something. They're like, oh man, we'd have taken 30. And he's like, well, I'd much rather pay that. And they realized they'd screwed him. And they're like, well, we'll meet in the middle. I'm like, yep. And I just started shaking their hand before.
Yeah.
Like,
Shit,
yeah, we'll do that. That's a great day. Whatever it was. I think it was like 30 to 40. But that bought us 2 months worth of life. And I mean, that started, I did a couple more deals with them and then ended up being business partners. Corey one day he's like, we should start a business together. We did that. And now we have, so this is what people got to see is on the other side of it, right? Like they got to, and the one thing, the scariest part of being an entrepreneur is being willing to go broke, like dead
You gotta
broke.
be dead broke.
Like I promise you, I don't know you other than meeting you one time, but I guarantee you, for all the people out here, there's times this gentleman has to go home and try to figure out where the paychecks are coming from when he didn't get one.
100%.
But everybody else got paid in that company today. Like everybody got paid, and he's sitting there like, shit, how can I move this bill around to move here, to move here?
It's true.
And that's what you have to be an entrepreneur. Now, Corey showed me this video a long time ago, and it resonates. There's a video of Jerry Jones. He talks about getting his card cut up when he showed up to buy the Cowboys. Like he couldn't even get a rental car.
Wow.
The dude figured out the money. But I can't remember the exact quote. Jerry Jones talks about the ability to navigate through that ambiguity. And that's really all it's not all it takes, but it's one of the most important parts is being able to not crumble.
Yep.
And just figure out how to do that. Like figure out, I know you've done it
Yeah.
a countless number of times. Like,
I mean, this probably about a month ago. When luckily, my bank came through with a line of credit to help me out in an event that's ever happened again. But this is about a month ago. We had like $2,500 to $3,000 in the bank on Wednesday. I had about $30,000 coming out on Friday. I didn't know if I had shit coming in on Thursday.
right.
Nervous as fuck. think I was sweating.
And you're beating the bushes, right?
Bro,
You're calling everybody, "Hey, man, I need you to pay that invoice."
I was sweating. I was nervous. Wednesday, Thursday morning, checks started showing up, bro. And we were able to generate. I think we put 50 in there, and we were able to pay our shit. And we still had another 20 in there, so all right, we're good, And then that's when me and my office manager had a talk. And because when you work insurance claims, then back in them RCV checks, they might not come in on the dime like that. Some shit, you might be at appraisal. You may have floated a job that's going to appraisal that you know is going to get approved at appraisal. You may have floated a $10,000 job that you're waiting on. And you do that a couple of times, man. It goes your general fund of your company. So we talked, we need to do something. She's like, well, we just need to start a savings account. I was like, fuck that. We'll get some IUL, we'll get some whole life policies if we do anything like that. I ain't putting no money in a savings account. I said, let me reach out to the bank. I've done float enough money through this motherfucker. They could look at my cash flow and say that, see, I got enough money coming in and out. Sure enough, we reached out to them, and after going back and forth with the bank, we were able to get a pretty decent line of credit in the event of that ever happening. Because my bank account gets below 30,000, your boys start sweating hard because I know every week I got 30 or 50 coming in and out of that bitch, and if not, I'll start sweating bullets.
Oh, that's real. And y'all don't know how real that is unless you're in business where you're waking up at 3 a.m. Just like, oh my god, just like you got at 3 a.m. Like all of that just floods in at one shot, and you're just. Man, there's $12,000 left in the bank.
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to get through this month?
Yes.
Like, you're like, what can I build? What can I do? And I don't think I ever gave my dad enough credit because I didn't understand it. So I went into business for myself, like how much he did. There was a time when I was a kid, he had 80 employees. Man. Right. Like, I can't even imagine.
No, fuck, either.
Like that. And then, when you break it down in perspective, you've probably got close to that. Through all your ancillary contractors and everything else. Yeah, if
you gave my roofing, because I said my 6 crew, that's just my roofing contractors. Right. That's not my interior.
But so don't sell yourself short. Like it's no joke. Like how many people you're employing, even in an ancillary way. Like you're doing it through a second, third means, however that's happening, and all that stuff rests on your deal. But I really do think that's the ability to do that, and that's the biggest shout out I give to my wife. There's been so many times there's $500 left in the bank. She's never once freaked out about that.
That's awesome, bro. That's a great trait to have in a woman.
She would not she's freaked out about a lot of stuff. Me not coming home for 3 weeks because I'm working around the clock, whatever. Like, hey, you got stuff to do, whatever that is, And when I say not coming home, I specifically mean leaving at 7 and coming home at 11 at night, because you're just working. You've been there.
You've been there, man.
But never once did she throw, even lose composure. There was times I wanted to quit, and she'd be like, "No, you've made us do this. You're not leaving now."
Yeah, to keep nudging you forward, man. That's good. That is a powerful woman. That you gotta have that if you're going to be an entrepreneur. If you got find the right terms to use without all these freaking women don't come throwing heat at me. You got to have a strong woman in your corner, because if you got a weak woman in your corner that can't handle that, I'm telling you from experience, they will fucking drag you down.
Well, and that goes vice versa. Spouses either way.
Yes.
Like if you don't got somebody that's in your corner, you probably need to go find somebody that is.
That's right.
Because it just and don't think from the married side, like I said, you better be sure before you start accusing people that you're in their corner. Right? Because it's work. Oh man, I can't tell you how much work marriage is, but I don't know that I'm ever putting enough into it. And that's one thing I struggle with, is always trying to put more, because I'm always trying to put all my focus on the business.
That's right.
And I am much more aware of that now. And I'm trying really hard to do more family, spouse awareness, because it's really hard not to get lost in this every day.
I agree.
And you can't bring home, there's no way you can come home and dump all the bullshit that you put up with on your spouse, because they'll end up hating everybody you work with.
Yeah.
Or hating you. Yes. Or hating your job. You just can't do it.
Which I don't live with, I'm seeing someone, but we don't live together. But I try to be present. I try to keep my phone. I try not to be on my phone. When I'm with her, I'm trying to be present with her. When I'm with my kids, I try to be present with them because time is limited. Especially they at school during the day. They go to aftercare because I'm working and their mom's working. Then I go pick them up. And then, time's limited. So why would I be on my phone worrying about work if I could be present with them? And I feel like just being that present with them speaks volumes instead of me being on my phone. My kids love to be on their damn devices, but
Well, you're a better person than me. I'm trying really hard to get there with the presence.
Oh, I'm not perfect, man. I still fail, but like I said, I try really hard.
I can guarantee if you ask my wife, that's probably my biggest fault. And I'm trying to do better. And I grew up, like, it's not an excuse. Like, when I remember, so my dad's first van was a rainbow carpet van. And he just took the rainbow carpet off, but it still had the rainbow.
Nice.
He just wrote Witherspoon Electric on the side. And we went on our first family vacation in that thing. And my sister went to Eureka Springs, Arkansas. My sister's floating around on the floor in a bassinet, and I'm in a lawn chair. There's no back seats. Like, you can't do that no more.
Yeah.
But my mom would be driving. My dad would have a set of prints out. Like, we're on vacation. I remember getting on planes with him, and he would unroll a set of prints and just start bidding a job, just trying to keep the doors open. I can't tell you how many times we would be on a vacation. I couldn't tell you how many times we weren't on a vacation and my dad didn't have a set of prints, like trying to work on it. And I'm sure I picked that up, and it's not the good trade to pick up. Like, so I've had to work really hard to break that.
And it's hard, man. It's hard. It's a hard habit to break because it's like, you only get so many hours in a day. I mean, you got unlimited hours, like for work, but it's like you trying to balance it, which the work-life balance, I think, is just a fucking fugazi, man. I think it's just like. But then I also think you just gotta figure out your time. It's like, okay, when I'm working. I know there's a dude I admire him. He turns his phone on airplane mode as soon as he gets home. Don't touch that so much the next morning. Hey, some people can do that. I can't because I'm still putting out fires. I'm still getting phone calls from, my project managers. At jobs. At 6, 7 o'clock in the afternoon. I can't just turn my damn phone off.
Well, you'd be getting heart palpitations too, because you'd be like, "What's going wrong? What's going on?"
Yeah, that's me right there. Like, why is he calling me to say something's up?
Like, man, that's tough. Like, I don't even know the right way to tell you, like, because I don't do it right.
Yeah.
Like, I keep telling myself I'm gonna start plugging my phone outside and leaving it outside at night.
Yeah.
So I don't wake up, but I'd probably wake up and go in there and check it in the middle of the night, like,
because it would eat at you, man. Is your dad still actively like working to this day?
He's
running
working.
screws?
He is, but he's not doing that. He works for a company where he's their head electrician in a sense.
Cool.
Like, he's not running the jobs though. Man, he was pulling licenses in some crazy states the other day. I don't know how many 20, 30 licenses. He's got licenses all over the place.
Wow.
So he'll go out. He helps them figure out the technical side, but I think he's it's one of those things. He's an old lion, and he don't want to let go of him. And I'm like, Dad, you've got the best job ever, man.
Yeah.
And so I think it's slowly. I think he'll retire in the next year or two, maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Knock on wood, maybe for him. Yeah.
I don't think he'll ever quit.
How old is he?
69.
Oh yeah, man. Time to go fishing.
There's some of that, but I don't think that would be good for him. If my dad couldn't work, like, he will just curl up and die. And I mean that in the nicest way possible.
Yeah.
So I've got this septic company. We started the hard way. We're doing our first installs now. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Oh, bro, I've installed a few septic tanks.
Well,
I'm not saying it was the right way, but I installed them.
We started a company and we're doing it, and I got the electrical company we started up, and because we couldn't find electricians, so we started just trying to bring that in-house, and I have that skill set, so luckily we can do that. But with the septic stuff, like, I'm just trying to set him up where I can get him to go do the designs for me and just do the test holes, and he can just go out and do his little test. And like, I want to take care of him on the other side. That's kind of my goal.
Absolutely, man.
Pay the old man whatever he needs to go do that and keep him busy, and he can work at his pace. And
you ain't got to worry about no bullshit. And I think that's that's a lot of people's goals too, especially when you are self-generated. Like, being successful, like my time, like me right here, I really work towards just being able to spend all my free time with my kids or with my loved ones. That's what I really work hard towards. And it's not just going to be their coach at baseball. It's like, okay, like, I got you got the day off from school. We about to go just we'll fucking fly to Vegas or some shit for the day. It was some stupid shit like that. But I just would like to just spend as much time with my free time with my kids if it's available.
Dude, we have very similar goals. I've said from the start, people they're talking about what's your why? And I don't really have one other than making sure, here's what I know. If I got $1 million in the bank and I get cancer, my life's going to be a lot less stressful than if I have cancer and no dollars.
You're right.
Right? There's no, if I got $1,000 in the bank and I find out I get cancer tomorrow, I know how effed I am. Just screwed. But the $1 million, I can afford to take a few days off and figure that out.
That's right.
And it's a terribly brutal way to look at that.
That's true.
But I know that's a fact. Mm-hmm. But when we talk about the kids stuff and the time with our family, my goal has always been, we love Disney World, and I haven't gone in years because I couldn't afford to.
Yeah.
Since we started this business. My goal has always been the ability not to go to Disney World, but using it as this, avatar. The ability to just take my kids and go to Disney World at the drop of the hat and not have to worry how we were going to eat when we were there.
Bro.
Because every man knows anything about Disney World, it ain't cheap.
High as bird pussy.
What's that?
It says high as bird pussy.
Yeah. And that, it's crazy that we used to plan these trips out when I had that good job, right, we would put a down payment and basically pay it out. You could do that with Disney. You do it with Carnival.
Yep.
I used to do all my trips like that, and we went on a lot more trips. And they were kind of paid off, but then you'd have to figure out how to eat or what money you were going to use to
get there.
Well, I mean, I would even put that. I would have all my flights paid for ahead of time.
Nice.
I would plan that out and at least have them paid for. But then you're like, all right, how much for souvenirs and stuff like that? I just don't want to have to worry about that.
Yes.
I want to go there and that not be a problem. I don't want to have to wear a pair of boots for 3 years because I had to.
Yes.
I just want to go buy a new pair of work boots because the insoles are hurting me or whatever.
Yeah.
And not think about it.
Not think about it.
That's to me is security.
Yes.
And it's always kind of been my why. And I don't want to fly on no private jet like that. I would love to take all my kids in first class because I promise you it's a lot less stressful. I used to fly in first class, amazing.
God, so that's funny you say that. I don't even know if she's sitting out there. I don't know if she's still at the motel or not. But I made a promise to myself a year and a half ago, I'm never flying coach again. I'll always fly first class. Right. And it's just a promise I made to myself, and it's a standard I just set for myself. And when we flew over here, we flew first class, and she's like, well, I ain't really got to fly first class, although I can put you in coach. It's a lot.
That's the same thing my wife would say. Yeah. She'd be like, we don't have to do that.
Yeah,
I know you need to be rested. You got stuff to do.
Yeah. No, I'm flying first class. Anywhere we go, we're going to fly first class. Some tips and tricks, though, about Disney, and who helped us out last time, is start buying gift cards. You can get them at Sam's. Mm-hmm. You go there and buy, $100 gift cards, $50 gift cards. We did this past year when we went. And we got the kids X number of dollars in gift cards, and that was what they spent for their.
Oh, that's smart.
And that's what they spent for their souvenirs and whatever they wanted from Disney. And once it was gone, it was gone. And then another cool place in Orlando. I'm gonna drop this, and then we'll get off of it. Discovery Cove. It's a SeaWorld park. It's pretty badass. It's they got this big makeshift coral reef. Kids go out there and swim with not the dolphins. You can pay to swim with the dolphins, but this coral reef, they got fish and tropical fish in there, stingrays, manta rays. You can swim with them. It's pretty cool. Kids like it.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
We took ours to. So this is going to get internet hate. When you clip this up, just know what I'm fixing to say is going to get people
cool with
mad.
it, bro. I get a lot of internet hate anyway, so it's good.
So we took my daughter my kids, all four of them last year to SeaWorld in San Antonio.
Okay.
And I told my wife, I'm like, we got to get them to see the Shamu show because this thing ain't going to last another generation. There's no way. And when you see that thing coming through the water at 40 miles an hour, just a straight apex predator, you realize this shouldn't be there. That should not be here. That is an apex predator. But luckily, or unluckily, however the internet people are going to be mad here, they let my daughter be part of the show. That's and, cool. Come down there and she got splashed and whatever the high five thing, whatever they tell them the deal. And they don't know that'll never happen after this generation. My kids will that won't be there when they have kids. No way.
It'd be impossible, man. And I think that's one thing because growing up, I never went to Disney. I went to Disney World when I was able to pay to go to Disney World. You know, I wasn't able to go. And I remember growing up, these kids would come back for school, you know, in August. Like, oh, we went to Disney World and shit. And I'm like, oh, well, I got to go to Biloxi Beach, you know.
I got you, man. We always went to Eureka Springs or Branson.
Yeah, so I was like, I mean, one year, we didn't have no money to go on summer vacation. We worked all year. I mean, worked all summer, and my stepdad shop at the time, and we went on vacation. I remember my mom checked us out. It was the first day of school. She checked us out because it was I think it was like a Thursday or Friday. She checked us out. She's like, all right, we're going on summer vacation. It was after school started. And I remember that. But looking back, I think that's the only vacation we ever went on, man. But I remember I used to envy kids that would go. And now I'm like, I've created those kids with my kids. My kids were a little spoiled. Like I said, I try to give them really good values and stuff. But like, I tell my kids all the time, I would have beat y'all up. When we were growing up, I would have beat y'all asses up. I didn't like kids like y'all growing up. I love you, but I didn't like y'all growing up.
Well, it's funny. I don't think we went on a lot of vacations, but it wasn't like Disney World.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like that. Like, we went there when I was almost grown. My sister was still in, I don't know, I was probably like a senior or something.
Wow.
Like when we went. So my dad had finally like made it.
Yeah.
But we always went on trips, and it was always we'd drive to Ruidoso. We'd drive to Eureka Springs. Like, we weren't flying places. Hell, we drove to the Rose Bowl parade one year.
Damn.
And it was it was very memorable because this is back when you couldn't book stuff off the internet, right?
Yeah.
So our friends booked this hotel that was like full of hookers and stuff. Like, it was like just in the wrong part of town. Like, we're just like kids, like, you know, like just trying to like
getting random knocks on your door at night.
Like, not get murdered in our terrible hotel. But I mean, we took a lot of trips like that. I think the biggest one we ever took, and my dad, it was something for business, but he took us all up there. We all went to Canada, and that was the one we did fly on. But that was also when I was much older. But it was never like the Disney stuff. Like, it was always like some adventure. I mean, shit, we were on vacation one time and our car burned down on the side of the road. We were out in West Texas and we had no car, just standing in that ditch, you know. But like, I mean, those are the things you remember.
That's things you remember, man. That's things you're able to pass on to your kids. They can pass on to their kids, you know. But I mean, you ever been up to Turner Falls?
Mm-mm.
It's between Ardmore and Wynnewood. You know where Wynnewood's at? It's up in Oklahoma. It's like straight up north of here.
So we moved here like 4 years ago.
Where'd y'all move from?
Well, I'm from here.
Okay.
I took that job in El Paso, like sight unseen. Met my wife in New Mexico, and we just stayed there for like 10 years.
Okay.
But, well, that's going to be convoluted timeline. That's a weird timeline. But my point is, I lived there 10 years, met my wife. So we moved back here. We just haven't been able to do stuff because we've been in baby jail for so long.
Yeah.
When you got 4 kids, it's really hard to find people to watch your kids. Like, nobody wants to do it.
Nobody.
And it's getting better now. My parents are like, all right, they're
old enough.
Yeah.
You need to change no diapers, be good.
Yeah.
Just come on over.
It's much better now. So we're getting out and experiencing stuff now, like even as a whole unit.
That's awesome.
It's a lot less dramatic, but I mean, when we went to SeaWorld, it was brutal, man. Just with the 2 4-year-olds, because no doubt we stop at a Buc-ee's 2 minutes later. Another one, I have to go to the bathroom. We just left Buc-ee's. Like, why?
Man, I know.
Why now? So another 30 minutes at the next place, you know?
Yeah, I know, man. That's my 9-year-old. Like, if he gets the urge to take a piss, he acts like he can't hold it for a split second. Like, he acts like he has to piss right then and there. So it's like that. He's got a bladder like I do, man. That's how much I piss every 30 minutes if you let him. Yeah. So it's like every, and I'd be back. So like when I go on long drives, I drink a lot of water. When I go on long drives,
that's what keeps me awake.
Yeah. When I go on long drives, man, I try to minimize my water intake because I know if not, my 6-hour drives will turn into an 8-hour drive.
Oh. I go the other way. I let the water clock keep me awake. Like,
really?
I'll drink a bunch, so I've got to pee because it'll keep me awake.
Yeah, I like that, man. Because the whole one eye trick that's fucking dangerous. You get sleepy, you got one eye, and you just switch eyes, and then when you go to switch, sometimes both them bitches stay closed. Oh, don't ever try that, guys.
I'm pretty. am pretty, insane is not the right word, but I'm pretty hard about, like, I will just pull over and sleep. I will find a spot and just pull over and sleep if I start getting there.
Yeah.
Because I worked so many years on the road. Like, dude, we used to do, God, man, like I used to do these Hibbett Sporting Goods. We'd go in and retrofit the unit. You know, they'd rent out a new lease unit. We'd go in and make it all their stuff. We'd finish one in wherever, like Killeen, Texas.
Yeah.
And 36 hours later, we had to be on another one somewhere else. Like, I'd be smoking Reds and, you know, like
getting it,
drinking Red Bulls and have a dip in at the same time, just trying to get there between jobs just to beat the crews to get set up and stuff.
There.
And, but I don't do that anymore. Like, I will straight pull over and sleep at the first place I can find that doesn't seem like I'm going to get killed.
You get murdered, yeah. I've never. That's one reason I've never been able to sleep in my vehicle, man. I've tried it several times. I'd work in, say, San Francisco, and I'd drive. In Albuquerque's about halfway from San Francisco to Mississippi, and that's 16 hours.
How much?
16.
I'll start to say, because it's 10. Oh man, that's a brutal drive. So you came in on the 8. You're coming in 8 from San Francisco over to Tucson, and that's a lonely drive. There's like dead cactuses that look like they were torched.
Terrible, man. It's such a terrible drive. So I would get to Albuquerque.
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. That's San Diego. See, anyways, I'm sorry.
It would take me down to, I want to say maybe Bakersfield and shoot me over or something. I can't remember the exact route.
I've only made the drive to San Diego. I've never driven to San Francisco. I've done L.A. and San Francisco from New Mexico, and it's brutal drives either way. It's
terrible. Because I did 10 before. I went I-10 all the way to, I guess, California. I guess where
it goes straight to Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's what I took. And then I was like, I'm not making this fucking drive again. I'll go a different route. And then I went a different route through Albuquerque. And that's what I always took. And with 10 one time, I was like, yeah. Because you would see like random shit that would freak me out. You would see a whole ass car with no tires and wheels on it. I'm like, what the fuck? And it wouldn't be just like...
That's just New Mexico, sir.
It wouldn't even just be like one of them. It'd be like every fucking couple miles there'd be a car just sitting there on its like hubs. I'm like, what the hell? That's weird. And then you would see like random ass people walking. I'm saying, man, I ain't coming this route no more. So we'd go through Albuquerque. Now I would drive to Albuquerque, but I could never sleep in my car. So I would always just have to go get a motel room, and I'd take a nap in the motel room, and then I'd wake up and I'd shag ass another 16 hours. And man, it's such a, and that's the stuff it's so time consuming. I think people, and it was things like that I would do, that I was like, man, damn, I'm wasting so much of this is like a whole day and a half I'm wasting on just a vehicle.
Well, yeah, well, I was fixing to say, so how much do you like it now that you fly everywhere? Because I used to do the same thing, dude. Yeah. Like, and you have to at some point. Like sometimes, like I drove back from North Dakota on Christmas Eve night, I think it's Christmas Eve night. And I dropped my dad was with me. He decided, he's like, I'm riding with you. I'm not letting you drive back by yourself. Thank God. I would have killed myself.
Yeah.
Like, well, I was pulling this giant ass trailer, you know, and coming through Montana and shit. And,
so hilly over there.
I dropped him off in Albuquerque. He flew back to Dallas from there.
Wow,
I made it to Cruces, picked up my family, and then we drove to Texas for Christmas, you know, from there. Yeah. But like you look at that and you look back at what you have to do versus what you want to do. Look, I'm going to West Texas after we're done here.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting in my car, I'm driving 4 hours. I got to not put out bandit signs because we don't encourage that.
Yeah.
But I got some rentals that got to be dealt with. I'm going out there. I've already got a room booked tonight. I did it while I was driving up here today because I can't risk my kids not having a dad because I'm trying to get there 2 hours earlier.
But I've taken that risk several times. We came back from Montana one time, another 32-hour drive. Me and my buddy, he'd drive 6 hours, I'd drive 6 hours. And then when he would drive, I couldn't sleep.
Right, because you're worried he's going to fall asleep.
Yeah. So it would be like I was up there, 6 would be my turn to drive again. I'm over here, I'm like looking like a damn crackhead because I done pounded so many monsters and stackers. I'm just trying to make it. I'm over
your
here.
Hair's buzzing.
Yeah.
You feel your hair?
And I'm just like, I'm trying to get there. And I'm like, all right, when I get home, I'm going to get some good sleep. I get home, sleep like 4 or 5 hours, and I'm wide fucking awake.
Shout out to Mini Thins. You guys are too young to remember
Yeah, the
Mini
mini thins were way before my time. Yeah.
Oh man, you could buy a bottle of them. It's just a Fedra,
Yeah.
like caffeine. Like you take them things so your hair was growing, like you could feel it. Like man, my scalp is tingling.
I made a post on Facebook the other day, and I was like, man, something about like I can't remember what exactly I said, but it was something like I sure miss the days with Jack 3D and Pro Hormones. Those were the days. And somebody was like, yeah, I miss those true mini thins. It's like, yeah, that's before my time.
Yeah, definitely more. He should probably not have been able to buy those at a gas station, but he used to good. It was all over the counter. Like, I mean, I really don't know what's all in them. Like, and I'm not really shouting them out internet. Like, it was probably not safe, but he got a lot of people through.
Ephedrazine and caffeine, 205 milligrams caffeine, 25 milligrams of ephedrazine. See it on Amazon, so.
Oh, well, you shouldn't
Should
take
we
it.
order
That-
some?
No, you should.
Yeah,
I don't
oh,
want
yeah,
anything
I
to
can't
do with that.
even
My
drink.
heart can't do that no more. Like,
Go ahead and give me some coming now.
like those things, like, anyways. like-
They would geek you up from what I hear.
Oh, yeah. You
They
get,
will.
You would. There's these little white pills, man. Like, you would get.
If you want to get another good,
That's the bottle.
if you want another good rush, you need to take some ephedrine, caffeine, and if you take that, got to eat some aspirin with it.
ECA stack.
Yeah, ECA stat. Yeah,
I mentioned that one day. They're like, "What is that?"
yeah.
I'm like,
Come on, bro.
"That was the thing, like
Yeah.
the ECA stack." Like, anyway, so we're not suggesting you do any of this. We're not doctors.
Yeah, we're not doctors.
But-
Consult with your physician.
I'm just saying there was times I'd have to drive across the state of Texas, and those allowed that to happen.
A lot.
Yeah.
Because Adderall's not that good, accessible to get these days. Having a shortage, so I hear. So
I don't know anything except beer anymore.
I love beer, man.
I,
I make beer. I look. People think I drink beer because I like to get drunk. I
really love the way it tastes.
I'm same here. I love the way beer tastes, and I'm like, I tell you another one of my favorite beers, man. It's a lot of people look at me like I'm crazy when I say this. It's Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah,
So, I like Pabst. The problem is Pabst have been ruined by the hipsters. They have straight ruined it.
Really?
There used to be a bar over by TCU where they would sell canned Pabst, and it used to be my favorite thing to offer like a table full of ladies. Hey, let me buy y'all a drink, and I would send a whole tray of Pabst over to them because it was $1 a can.
Yeah,
Like,
cheap, man. It's cheap.
like, oh man, this guy's gonna buy us drinks, and you just send them a
cheap.
tray of Pabst.
And they're probably turning their nose up like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Pabst is good, man. Like
Lone Star Gang.
Lone Star's all right. Like I can't pick
think
on
about
it.
that.
But I prefer Dos Equis.
Yeah,
all-
I'm a big Mexican beer drinker
me
myself. I like. There's one over here that they sell. I can't have found it, but at 1 or 2 stores, it's called Crawford Bock. It's
Yeah,
pretty-
it's Carbach. It's out of Houston.
Carbach,
It's a good
is that
one.
it?
Carbach is the brewery. It's
Oh, okay.
Crawford Bock. It's really good.
yeah, it's really good. I think the Bucky's rolling out of here has it. Usually when I stop by there, I'll pick up a 6 or 12 pack of it just 'cause it's really good.
I think I'm just too redneck, or maybe my palate's not refined enough. When people start like telling me about notes of chocolate and it says notes of the earth and chocolate in my beer, and I just don't want any part of that. I just want like a good lager.
A good lager, bro. It's
Like
banging.
one of my favorites, just off the shelf. Have you ever had Session?
No,
They come in these little 11-ounce bottles. They look like Red Stripes, but it's just a good American style lager.
it's really good. I'm gonna try some. Try some.
And they
tonight.
carry them.
good.
Yeah, Session's great. There's Session Red and Black. I like the red beer, but I don't understand why beer's got to be that fancy. Like we just like trying to church it up. I'm not a guy. I don't like IPAs. I don't like all that stuff.
I'm not a big guy. I do drink like crafts, like from like local breweries, but IPAs are something that I've never been able to get into. So bitter to me, man. I don't like a really bitter beer.
Yeah, I agree.
I like like I said, I like beer. I'll try anything. I like. There's another one that's called Peroni. It's an Italian beer. It's pretty decent, man. I'll drink a lot of it if I can find it. But
Next time you come down, Bubba, I'll make you a 6-pack.
Sweet man, appreciate it.
I like a lot of. I mean, like I've drank a lot of Kirin. Like I've had some really rough days because of Kirin and the other stuff. But and I'll try flights of beer anytime that I'll try flights at a place. I just find that I always come back to like lagers or Mexican style lagers. I love them.
I'm the same way, man. I'm the same way.
There's a beer in Albuquerque called Elephants on Parade, and it's pink. I don't know if it's a wheat beer or something. It's fantastic.
Really?
Oh, it's fantastic. If I find some, I'll bring some back and get it to you because they were selling it in cans. I just haven't been to New Mexico in a long time.
Wow.
But it is fantastic beer. But when you see it in the can and it's pink beer, you're like, man, this is going to be weird.
Yeah,
it's really good beer.
There's one out of San Francisco. It's called Steamboat Ale. And I'm not a big ale. I don't like it. But I want to say it's called Steamboat Ale or something like that. Super good beer too. But like I said, it's only it's a local brewery over there. I think it's called Steamboat Ale.
Not like San Francisco, but
that's it right there.
Oh yeah, Anchor. Yeah,
Anchor's
really good.
That's it. Super good beer. But like I said, I'll try anything once. But
there used to be a place in, I'm not going to name the town because everybody will know it, but it's this craft brewery where all the waitresses were just mean. Like, they weren't friendly.
I know what you're talking about.
They had fantastic beer. Like, they had
was the restaurant called Dick's?
No. This is a tiny little craft brewery. You could get it's in Cruces. They have wonderful beer, but the waitresses were always just rude. Like, I didn't ever want to go there. Like, you could go in and they'd bring out a pizza tin this big full of nachos, like just heaped up. Like, you could buy it was fantastic. The food was good.
Yeah.
They had a peach wheat that was incredible. Like it was the kind of stuff you want to drink in the summer, just not like
summertime beer.
Like, I love Mexican lagers. I'll drink them every day, any day. But I can't just sit down and drink like 30 Negra Modelos. Like, I just like eating steak or like like drinking a bunch of Hefeweizen or something like that. Like, I know guys that do that, and I'm like, man, it's just too much, bro.
Give me all of it.
You drink the Negros?
Yeah.
But I drink the special. I'm a weak.
I like them with dinner, but but I only drink one or two. Like, it's not that's not a thing that I can sit down. Like, I'm sure you've done it. Sat down and just drank a bucket of Corona, or whatever it is, Pacifico, Tecate.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. I don't think that's just a Texas thing.
We do it all the time. Man. I'll buy buckets and I'll just pound them.
Yeah, and that I don't know why that's so much easier. There's certain beers you just can't do that with.
Yes, certain. You're damn right.
I'll drink 6-pack of Imperial IPA. Let's go.
Imperial IPA.
I'll try it.
12%er.
What about
Chimay? As hell.
Have you drank Chimay?
Yeah, Chimay is brilliant. It's too expensive.
Yes, as high as
amazing.
But I think the story goes Belgian monks make it for like
it's one of the oldest.
Yeah, they make it and they sell it for charity money, right? Something like that.
I mean, whatever.
I mean, also to get drunk. Like,
get drunk.
Gonna do something. Like, got them through the dark ages.
We're gonna go with charity money for everybody out there.
I like the idea. Like, I'm not. Now, I'm assuming they're Catholic monks. I don't know anything about that. I mean, some kind of Christian monk.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I'm Protestant.
No, I don't think they're Catholic because they're Belgian, so they're probably Calvinist or something like that.
Okay, well, not Southern Baptist.
Baptist, yeah.
So not Nazarene, not Methodist. All I'm saying is I like the idea of some monks that just want to have a beer. Like, I want to hang out with those guys. I feel like I could learn something from them.
Monks are like knowledgeable people, man.
Yeah, and I feel like they'd just be fun to hang out with if they're the kind that talk. That's what I know off of seeing the movies is there's monks that don't talk and monks that do.
Met one down in New Orleans one time. Don't know if he's a real monk, but I did get a bracelet from him. I wish I had the son of a bitch on. But he didn't talk. He just held a piece of paper and he read it and it was like, these bracelets are free. You just donate whatever you feel like. I get down and gave him like
so it was either a scam or it wasn't, but it was a cool moment.
It was still a cool moment. He still had like the orange little face, like Asian guy, bald head, fucking little orange fucking dress thing on.
Dude, there's a huge Buddhist monastery. I can't even remember what town it is.
It's in Keller, I think.
No. This is like over toward Malakoff. It's like where you would never think there's a Buddhist monastery. There's just a monastery out there, but hey, shout out. Those guys living their best life.
Living it up, man.
That's awesome.
I actually had a guy that was renting a section of my office from me. So a section of our office we didn't even use. He's like, hey, man, he's a real estate guy. And he's like, man, can I just borrow this section of your office? Can I just rent it from me? He said, I'm not going back up to Jackson for a while. I got a lot of projects down here in Southwest Mississippi. I said, yeah, man, that's fine. And he left and went and done that. He was like, you could like go spend like time with monks, like at a monastery and shit. Like he'd pay to go do it, and like you just go hang out with them and shit, and like live their life for like a month or some shit.
Seems like it'd probably be beneficial to a lot of people.
Yeah, I think a lot of people could use that. A lot of blue collar people could use that. Get their mindset right. I think that's where blue collar people do kind of like. I mean, you're in the business space as well. What all you got going on? I know you got the septic tank, you got the electrical.
We buy and sell properties all
Real estate,
over.
yeah. Just all over the state of Texas.
All over the state of Texas.
Nice.
Man, we started a hedge fund, which is crazy to think about. Just some dumb hillbillies starting hedge fund, and it's going very well right now. I don't even know how many companies I have right now. We have because it's always, we structure stuff in a way where a lot of times we come across a really good deal in real estate, and it'll be like, hey, Sohill, blah, blah, whatever, like, you got any cash? Let's put this deal together. And we'll just put something together and just go. And because that's the biggest thing with real estate deals, right, is if you wait on a really good deal, it ain't going to be there when you come back.
That's right.
And it's like anything else, right? But we have so many random deals that are put together like that. Like we got R2R Retreat, which is just an entity we created that has a Airbnb down on Lake Limestone. We got a company that just has one apartment complex in it that we went and found the money that day, or Corey did, and some other people put in, and we all became part of it. And we've got, like, the hedge fund is me and Braxton and Jacob and Corey. Like, that's all just random. It's just how it comes together those days, right?
Yeah. Are y'all just lending? Are y'all just lending out money for here in Texas, or it's going to be nation?
So that's something they do that I don't do. Now they rep Jet Lending.
Oh, okay.
So you need a loan, go get Jet Lending /R2R. Braxton will help you out. They can cut you a loan, a hard money loan for that. What we're doing is we saw a change in the market, a hard change in the market. We knew that with the interest prices going up, and I say I got to give credit to Corey because he saw this like 6 months ahead of all of us. We knew that the market was changing in such a way that it was going to be not conducive for us to keep paying the hard money rates and trying to refi these things on the backside. There's no difference in them. So Corey got the idea, like, hey, let's start a hedge fund. Braxton researched it all. Like, I'm just the dummy that got kind of drug along here.
Yeah.
Like the joke, because they made me the president. They call me El Presidente all the time. But, like, this is really the brainchild of Braxton, and Corey and Jacob did a lot of the financial stuff on the back end. I think I'm just bringing the trade side to the plate. But what it allowed us to do is take all of our lenders who are our friends and family, help them become owners. Now they're owners of real estate, and they get the best side of that, which is the depreciation and everything else that lenders don't get.
Yeah.
Lenders don't get that. Lenders just get to pay interest on the money they make.
Wow.
So we've gotten to give some of the blessings that we've had kind of forward in a lot of ways. And I'm super stoked about being part of that because it helped us give a lot more back to people that were just getting paid, 12%, which seems like a lot to folks, but it's 1% a month is how that breaks down on. What's that?
That's pretty good, though.
It is, but when you're a hard money lender to me, so like I reach out to people all the time. I need $20K to finish a job right now, just to flip a job that I have. So I need somebody at $20K a second. If they want 12% interest, that's going to be 1% a month. So they would be getting a $200 payment a month, right?
Yep.
Now these folks are able to have those realize similar gains, and they own the real estate. They get to depreciate it. Like, it's just a whole better thing. So that's kind of our newest endeavor. And while I'm not part of it, our group of people, I'm not part of it on purpose because we needed a way to fund this. They started a charity. So now we have a 501c3 that we can go out into communities that we deal with, the tertiary communities, like the secondary communities that nobody thinks about, like the flyover country, and give back to those communities. So I mean, I'm just happy to be part of all of it.
Yeah.
I don't even know how, like, I feel really, really lucky to, stumbled into this and found such good people, because I was always scared of a partnership.
Yeah,
I was
man.
always scared. Like, partnerships are for suckers. You can't control your own destiny. And I am a strong personality. I'm not the strongest personality in our group.
Yeah. And partnerships only work, man, if somebody could be the yin to your yang. Ingos are similar. Y'all stay on the same page. I think lack of communication really kills good partnerships on the front end. Like say if the partnership's good on the front end, and then it becomes shit on the back end, it's typically from lack of communication. And I think as long as you stay on the same page, something's going on, everybody stays in the loop, and everybody can come together and agree that I think the partnerships work. But I feel like a really great partnership is, what can somebody bring to the table that I don't? You bring something to the table that they can't bring to the table. They bring something to the table that you can't bring. So it's all going to work. It's like a big old puzzle piece. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think the yin and yang is a big part of that. Like, yeah, obviously, my business partner, he's all go. Like, he's like,
yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, let's check to make sure everything's loaded first. Like, what? I believe that those two opposite personalities a lot of time is what makes it work, because you come to some kind of weird amalgamation of something normal. If that makes sense. Like,
that makes sense.
Like, it's I don't know how to explain it, but I think you're right. This is my point. I'm agreeing with you that it has to be a yin and yang kind of deal.
Yeah. So, Jason, we got to wrap it up, man. But if somebody wanted to reach out to you, whether it's for a real estate deal, maybe they got something they want to fucking sell, maybe they got something they want to finance, maybe they need some electrical work, septic work, how can they reach out to you, man?
So, Facebook, Big Spoon _real estate. You can find me there, Jason Witherspoon. There's only a few of us. There's me and another goofy dude with some jacked up teeth. That's probably, he could be me. I got jacked up teeth too, but Instagram, TikTok, it's all Big Spoon _real estate. Hit me up. We'll buy anywhere in the state of Texas. I need deals right now.
Okay.
I got $1 million we're trying to place right now.
Okay. Cool deal. We'll send them your way, brother.
Absolutely.
Look, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. I hope you have a great day.
I really appreciate the time. Thank you,
brother. Well, you heard it from El Presidente himself. The work-life balance is a fugazi. You have to make time for your family. You cannot work and slave your life away and miss all the time with your family. If you would, give us a like and share on Facebook at Blue Collar Alliance.